Bookworms. People. I'm filming this because that's something that I've been seeing all over BookTube, particularly from that Disney chick who I like so much. Oh my gosh, go watch her version of this if you haven't. It is the Midyear book freakout tag. What's it called? I literally just watched her video. Why do I not know what it was called? Midyear book freakout tag. Yes, so I saw people do that. It seemed like a lot of fun. I also love a tag video. It's a great fun thing to film, so why not do it myself? Let's get into it. I'll put all the questions down below in case you want to do it yourself. This is the version of the tag that I found. If it's slightly different than others, a lot of them like had the year attached, so I think this is the 2020 version. What do I know? Anyhoozle. First question is the best book you've read so far in 2020. So I had to go through my Goodreads to like figure out when 2020 started and like how this worked, because I've been reading a lot recently, but I don't know what book goes with which month because I'm all over the place. But early in the year, Girl, Serpent, Thorn. Oh my god. That book is coming out July 7th, and if you haven't put it on pre-order, do right now. I want everyone to read it, and it's so good. Like, I got one of my friends to read it without knowing anything about the book, and I think that's the best way to do it, but you're probably gonna see everything all about it all at once anyways, because people tend to recommend using it. But some of it's just like the best twists that like I don't want to let you see coming. I want you to have them take you completely by surprise. But that book, oh my god. Oh my god. It is so, so good. So that is by, I want to say, Melissa Bashardust. So yeah, I read this back in January and thought it was like the greatest thing since sliced bread. Because I hadn't read a lot of YA in a while, and then this came out and I got my hands on it at an ALA conference, and it just blew everything out of the water. Oh wow. So, so good. So good. Love it. This also could totally fit on like many of the different prompts that this is coming up. But this is a princess who is cursed to be poisonous to the touch. So there's this whole thing of where she thinks she's monstrous and she has to get locked away in the tower, but also, wow, like she doesn't feel bad for herself. She's trying to figure out her place in the world, and things suck, but she's so good. And it is based on, I want to say, Persian mythology. Oh my gosh, wait, I actually wrote a review on this. Check me out. Okay, way to go. I'm proud of myself. I never do that. So I said my favorite parts of Girl, Serpent, Thorn were the crazy twists and turns that I can't reveal for fear of spoiling the story for you, next reader. I really enjoyed learning about Persian myths through Bashardust's interpretation and author's note, because she has a bit at the end where she actually like goes into what inspired her and like what she pulled from them and what is slightly different than what she included in her interpretation. So that's really cool. And it's just like the most vibrant world that she creates, because it's nothing like the earth that we're in now, which can only be a good thing, let's be real. But it's just masterful. Like, I don't use that word lightly. It is masterful. Her use of language, it is fast-paced. I think I read it in like a day and a half while in Philadelphia. It was so good. It was so, so good. Believable relationships and emotions. Main character that you just want to root for until and beyond the end. And yeah, it's just an incredible reimagining and like rumination on identity. Oh, so good. So good. Then the other one is The Color Purple, which I had somehow not read until this month, and like I'm mad at myself for not being on like my third reread of this book. Holy shit. So, so good. But both of these could also be included in the prettiest cover, books that made me cry. Like there's a lot that these could cross list under. But The Color Purple, if anyone is later to the party than I am, which I'm so sorry, is written in an epistolary form of Seelie, who is writing letters to God and to her sister, and they've been separated for a really long time because their home life was shit. And it is extremely raw, and there's a lot of like really horrible relationships in here in terms of like, wow, men are bastards. And then, as I'm sure this is on like most best lesbian fiction lists, she falls in love with a woman, and their relationship is very up and down as well, but Seelie gets to really know who she is and like has a sense of self and has a sense of worth throughout this book that grows and gets just so, oh, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. This is art. This book is art, and there's no other way to explain it. So good. Okay, so those are huge. So best sequel that I've read so far is The Obelisk Gate. I just like ripped through the first 2 books of the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin because they're so good. They're so good. They're so good. And the format, I think, of the first book might have worked a smidge better because if you haven't read this yet, like skip ahead 30 seconds, but it felt like you were reading 3 different women's stories, and then when they all like were revealed to be the same woman, I was just like, what? Blew my mind. But this is also very, very good because it's her and her daughter, and the mother-daughter relationships between them are just so realistic, even though the whole thing is this post-apocalyptic world where magic still exists. Oh my gosh. New York Times calls it intricate and extraordinary. I completely agree. All of these things that are like on the back and all of the awards that it's won are so accurate. These novels are a gift to the whole of our culture, utterly gripping, even better than its predecessor, The Verge, which, it's like this, it's just as good as its predecessor, which I think is hard, very hard for a series. And then stunning again and tremendous. Those are all the things that people have written on the backs. This series is so good. It's so hard to explain. Like, I don't actually like the blurbs on the back of this because, like, yes, it's technically all that stuff that happens, but these books go beyond anything that you could, like, sum up in plot points. Amazing. Incredible. Wow. And then we have a new release that you haven't read yet but want to. I am so excited for A Song of Wraiths and Ruins. Look at this cover. Oh my gosh. She's gorgeous. So I'm really excited for this because I feel like it could be on par with Girl, Serpent, Thorn. We've got the whole like princess element. There's a folklore element. I think it's West African retelling or like merging within the actual like plot of the story. And of course there's some romance and some magic. Grieving crown princess and a desperate refugee find themselves on a collision course to murder each other despite their growing attraction. What more could you want? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So this sounds amazing, and so far I've been seeing some really good reviews on it, so I'm really excited for this one. And I have it in hand, so that is good news for everyone involved. Then, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I should be way better at knowing what's coming, considering the whole librarian thing. At the moment I'm working in a library that only speaks French, so I'm kind of out of the loop. But in addition, and the ALA conference was online this year, so I didn't get to like see all of the ARCs everywhere, and I didn't get to take home a suitcase of books from there, which is a bummer, but you know, global pandemic, all that stuff, and also I don't have space for more books, so it's probably a good thing, all told. But if I'm looking at NetGalley, some of the ones that I'm really excited for that I have on my Kindle at the moment. So I have Smash It by Francina Simone, which I've read a couple chapters of, and already I'm just like really hooked. So I don't know if I'm allowed to count that, but I want to count it because it's great and the cover is just mwah, so good. Then we have, let's see what else. Legendborn, which I just got, and that looks incredible. I am like really leaning into the YA mystical realism, magical world stuff, and this one looks amazing. And just, I mean, look at that cover. Oh my god. And I'm hoping to get Cemetery Boys, so all of those are like way up there for me. So good. I think the next question is your biggest disappointment. I think it has to be American Royals, which a lot of people loved, so I'm like not trying to come for your fave, but the premise of American Royals is so interesting, like reimagining American history if we did have royalty, if George Washington became the first monarch instead of our first president. But then it's like modern day and they're talking about the American Royals, and it's the same love story 3 times. There's insta love for all of the couples. I guess for like one, there's like a very stereotypical backstabbing bitch who's trying to get in the way of the couple. And then I had a friend who told me what happens in the second one, and I'm like, oh my god, are you kidding me? Like, nothing ends up at all the way it's supposed to, and I didn't like it. Did not like it. Have a rant over on Bookstagram if you want to go check that out. And then I think one that was like a half disappointment for me was Catherine House, because there were parts of it that I felt like so hard, because it reminded me of my very strange all-girls high school that had all of these like weird traditions, and it was a graduating class of 59, and like the book just like spoke to that part of me. But then there were so many plot points that I wanted the book to be like 3 times as long so that she could actually explore all of the things that I wanted her to explore. Or like 3 separate books that each dealt with one of the different plot points. I don't know. So that's the thing. It's like I'm kind of disappointed with it, because I was like, this could have been exceptional, and it's just kind of like good. And I hope that a lot of people had different thoughts on that, because again, the premise is so cool. Like, so cool for Catherine House. Catherine House is cooler than American Royals, for sure, hands down. Biggest surprise? So I think that would have to be Lilith's Brood for me. I've only read the first book of this trilogy, which is Dawn, I think? Dawn. And Adulthood Rights is coming, and then after that it's Imago. But I had no idea what to expect from this, and it was my first Octavia Butler, and again, holy crap, she's a genius. But also, how did she think of any of this stuff? Like, it was just nothing at all like I was expecting, and like I didn't even know what to expect, and then I was still just so surprised at every turn. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And then I have a whole bunch of her books that I need to read still, because she is a queen. Queen Octavia. Long may she reign over sci-fi? Or just like all right fiction? I don't know. But amazing. Then I think favorite new author, debut or new to you, N.K. Jemisin has to be there because, wow. And then also I just read this book, and I'm going to read everything that Kacen Callendar has ever published. They are so talented, and this book is perfection. So I'm gonna be singing their praises for a really long time. Newest fictional crush. I don't really get crushes on book characters, which I know is very weird, but like I stan relationships super hard. So I feel weird imagining myself with them, because like, no, they have the perfect partner. Or they have a partner that I absolutely hate, but like I still don't want to date them. I don't know. Maybe... Oh. My leg's falling asleep, but like, this looks very strange on camera. Ugh. So maybe Augustus Everett from Beach Read, which is like a really fun book, and actually like more serious than I was expecting it to be. And he's got his weird fun like dark culty interests, which I identify with. and also just seems like kind of a mess, but like a hot mess. So maybe Augustus Everett, but he and January are really cute, so like maybe not. I don't know. Newest favorite character has to be Felix Love. I love him. He is valid, and I want everyone to read this book. Then, book that made me cry. I cry at all books. I'm a wreck. Like, very seriously. It is unusual for me not to like tear up at different stories that I'm reading if I'm into the story. So I think you could probably extrapolate from that. Like even this next one, which is Book That Made You Happy, Red, White, and Royal Blue. I finally read that this month for Pride Month, and everyone is so right to be telling me I told you so, that I would love it, because of course I did, because everyone did. Even this book, I cried at multiple points because, I mean, it's so funny. I love them so much. They're so like wonderful. So I'm like tearing up over like just positive feelings, and then I'm tearing up because I don't live in this book, and I would love for our version of America to have had a female president for the past 4 years, and like have her going up for re-election and having an outpouring of support for her openly bi son. Like, yes, I would live for that. That's what I want. I want to go into that book like it's in card. Like, sign me up for that immediately. But we don't. So like I was in my feels a lot, and it made me so happy, and I was tearing up because I was happy, but I was also tearing up because I was jealous, and it was just, I cry at everything. I tried to like tell myself at first like, no, I only cry for like books, because like books are like, you know, stories are more, make me more emotional than like life. But then life has been absolutely bonkers, and people are dying, and I've been crying over the news, and I think it's starting to weird my parents out, but here we are. Most beautiful book I've bought this year so far, or received. I mean, I've shown you some really, really gorgeous covers already, and I told you about Girl, Serpent, Thorn multiple times. The color purple. Felix Ever After is stunning. So is A Song of Wraiths and Ruin. I mean, the Obelisk Gate, like everything I've talked about so far has a gorgeous cover. But a gift that I got that was really touching to me is the comic book versions of Neil Gaiman's Stardust. They were sent to me by one of my parents' friends, because last time I was home we had a like big heart-to-heart over how much we love Neil Gaiman. And he mailed them, and it was just such a nice package, and they are so gorgeous. Oh my gosh. And that story is one of my favorites. It was like my first Gaiman, possibly my second, I don't know. But they're beautiful. They're stunning. And they have to be on this list. So there we go. And then, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I literally just filmed a whole video about how out of control my TBR is. So if you want to help me decide, please go comment on that, because I have so many books. So many. And yeah, so that's my tag video for the mid-year book Freakout tag. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go check out that other video that I just mentioned, because I really need help narrowing down my TBR. And yeah, I hope I'll see you soonish, whether here or on Bookstagram, which is where I'm going to be giving away a lot of books as I finish them, because I don't have any space left in my room.